Everybody, gonna have a look at the news now, or the weekly news recap thing that I do. Oh god, I'm super low energy, sorry. Anyway, the weekly news recap for the 28th of February to the 6th of March 2022. So first up, the thing that's been in the news for everybody, the whole Russia invading Ukraine thing. This horrible thing that is happening. The video game industry has not been allowed. What am I trying to say? Oh my god, what is wrong with me this morning? Not even this morning. This is why you should go to bed. Anyway, what am I trying to say? The video game industry has not been spared. Kind of response from the various publishers and developers and things. So first up, Little Orpheus has had its release pushed back. This is from the Chinese rooms. These are the people from Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and Unfinished Swan, I think is theirs as well. I can't remember now. Anyway, we recognize some of the game's themes and content may be upsetting to players at this time. Little Orpheus is a comedic platformer that features many references to Soviet Russia. So the game has been out on like Apple Arcade for a while, like 2 years or something like that, and it was going to make a console debut this week, but in light of recent events, they've decided not to do that, which is probably for the best. Following on from that, EA have removed Russia and Russian teams from FIFA and also from their NHL games, but this is from Eurogamer, who don't particularly care about hockey. It's a British publication. Anyway, EA made the announcement this afternoon, just days after the real-life FIFA and UEFA governing bodies said Russia's national side and players would be banned. So it's questionable if this is EA taking the onus or if they are following FIFA's lead, and possibly to maintain licensing agreements and so on, they have to do the same thing. That would be my guess, but also later on in the week, EA did like straight up just stop selling stuff in Russia and Belarus, so who knows. Hang on, my phone has decided that it didn't want to realize that I have my watch on and that I don't want to be getting notifications, but well, whatever. Okay then. Anyway, this War of Mine studio donates £520,000 sterling to Ukraine, so this is actually like a fairly large story. This is like a bunch of different developers who've all decided to go in on it. So this War of Mine is a Polish developed game. It's from the people who also make Frostpunk, 11-bit studios. It is a like what happens to civilians in times of war kind of thing. This War of Mine, it is a kind of survival type thing. But it's a bit prescient, I guess, at the moment. They had a very simple message, which was just fuck the war. In addition to 11-bit studios, you had other people such as Unity, Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red, and the Embracer Group, who own THQ and a bunch of other things. They're actually a huge publisher that not many people know about. And then in addition to them, we had Fat Shark, who make Vermintide. We had Quantic Dream. We had Clash of Clans, Supercell, and then Bloober Team. Sorry, a lot of them were making donations, and Bloober Team themselves have restricted selling any of their games. So that's Layers of Fear and The Medium. Again, Bloober Team are a Polish studio. And Witcher Cyberpunk developer CJ Projekt Red, also Polish, and have blocked sale of their games, and they have also blocked GOG, which is a PC store platform that they own and operate, good old games. And the Pokemon Company have also made a donation. So there's a lot of stuff happening. But what about the big three? What about the big three boys? So Sony has pulled Gran Turismo 7's Russian release. No statement was made. Sony made the decision not to sell the game in Russia on Thursday night, although the company has yet to officially comment on the move. So it's not there and it's not being sold, but Sony haven't said anything about it. This could be a question of Sony itself, the bigger brand, Sony being a Japanese-run company, as opposed to the PlayStation brand, which is typically run by the US section these days. Japanese companies typically don't make press releases for this kind of thing. Not that this kind of thing comes up very often, but if you get my meaning. So it could be that like Sony, the bigger group, are like, we'll just do this, and we don't need to say anything about it. Possible. We'll see if they come out with anything later on. Microsoft is suspending all sales of products and services in Russia. So this is Microsoft, not Xbox. Xbox is obviously under the umbrella, and Xbox stuff isn't being sold, but also like Windows products and that kind of thing are also not being sold there either. We are announcing today that we will suspend all new sales of Microsoft products and services in Russia. And the rest of that article is just highlighting stuff I've already said. Nintendo. So Nintendo haven't done anything, but you cannot currently make payments in Russia. And this isn't because of Nintendo, this is because of whoever handles their payments. Whoever handles their ruble payments is not doing it. So this has the effect of you not being able to buy anything on the eShop. But that's kind of what's happening here. It's worth noting this temporary suspension of service doesn't appear to be a result of Nintendo's own actions, but rather that of a third party. Nintendo is yet to publicly comment on the matter. So again, Japanese company, they don't typically. Activision Blizzard is the latest company to cut off Russian markets. So Activision Blizzard has halted all sales, physical and digital. So a question here is, are they halting them, or are their payment partners refusing? Because like Visa are halting any trading. A bunch of like the digital platforms are also halting trading. So it's a question that, yeah, like even if we wanted to keep sales going, none of our payment partners are gonna do it. So I guess it becomes a moot point at that stage. And then just this morning, Epic Games have decided also to stop selling anything to Russia or Russian markets on their store, but they are keeping their chat and messaging services open for that kind of thing. So some small changes there. But yeah, there's been some response from the video game industry at large. How much of it is just pragmatic, because even if they wanted to get payments, they can't? Who knows? Box product, as far as I know, isn't going there because of like suspended flights and that kind of thing to the country. So it's I think it's all a moot point, really. Okay, so some updates. Paradise Killer is getting a PlayStation and Xbox release in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. Paradise Killer is an absolutely excellent murder mystery game that came out on Switch and PC in 2020. So the new console releases are getting, like, as it says here, visual and performance upgrades. It's not a particularly taxing game, so it's not surprising that they're able to pump in these kind of visual upgrades. Paradise Killer could quite easily be Game of the Year for 2020. I would have to actually go through games that came out, but if it's not Game of the Year, it is like top 5. It's an excellent game. And now that it is getting these upgrades and updates, I found my next LP for the channel. Anyway, I was wondering what was I going to play, and Paradise Killer was in the list, and I was wondering, would it ever get a console release, basically? Or not a console release, because it's already on Switch. Would it get a PlayStation release, basically? Because I want trophies, and that it's getting the ray tracing shenanigans as well. That's great. So that's good. I look for that on the channel when it comes out on March 16th. So in and around that week, I'll start an LP of it. And then Capcom announced that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7, so Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Resident Evil 7 are getting PS5 and Xbox Series X updates. And if you already own the game, it's a free upgrade. So it's getting like improved visuals, improved performance, all that kind of stuff. Cool. I already own all 3 of them, so that's great. And I forgot to change over to the main screen. Apologies, everybody. This is what happens when I don't get enough sleep. This is also why the stream is much later than it normally is. Oh boy. Anyway, we'll swap over to the bigger screen. So sorry for seeing all of that in small screen. Anyway. Yeah, I already own all 3 of these, so that's free upgrades for me. I think Resident Evil 7 was a PS Plus at some point, so it's possible some of you may already own it too as a free upgrade. I was planning to do a Resident Evil like anthology series thing for the channel at some point, so starting at Resident Evil 1 and work our way through it up to 8, and I imagine 9 will be out by then. I could probably do that as well. If there is a Resident Evil 9, of course there's a Resident Evil 9. This game makes them far too much money. And since it is the start of the month, that means PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold, whatever, new game releases. So what we're getting on PlayStation is Ark Survival Evolved, which is a survival MMO type thing. We have Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner is an excellent Mirror's Edge parkour first-person combat trial and error kind of thing. Think of it as like Mirror's Edge, but you're a ninja, and you have a sword, and that's kind of it. And everybody else has guns, and you die in one hit. But enemies die in one hit too, so you've got that. There's a lot of very quick, twitchy movement to just try and not die and kill everybody in the room before you die, and lots of cool parkour and grappling and that kind of thing. Great game, really fucking hard. Ghost of Tsushima Legends, so not Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is their multiplayer spin-off thing. Yeah, multiplayer, no, don't want it. There was a 4th game. Team Sonic Racing. For whatever reason, they have 2 Ark Survival Evolved, but only one Team Sonic Racing, or only one. Remember to get more sleep, kids. Okay, anyway, they don't have a trailer for that, but we're not watching the trailers because they use PlayStation's proprietary video player, and it sucks. No, they don't. They use YouTube. Well, fuck me. Okay, let's start that again then. Ark Survival Evolved, which is a survival MMO type deal. Yeah. I think at this stage you probably know what it is. I'm kind of curious because I think this has a subscription model, so I don't know how much you'll actually get for PlayStation Plus on that. Debatable. What does this show then? Is this more Ark Survival Evolved? Even more Ark Survival Evolved. Okay, so they just decided to put 2 trailers for Ark Survival in for no reason. Anyway. Yes, I am older than the foundations of the universe. Alright, Ghost Runner. Ghost Runner had a couple of updates recently, which is probably why they're getting the PS Plus treatment, because there's a new DLC pack out for it. But yeah, this is Ghost Runner. It's all parkour shenanigans, grappling. You have a cool sword. You die constantly. Like, it's very easy to die in this game, unfortunately. It's very easy to think you're doing great and get really close to enemies and swing your sword and just completely whiff. At least that was my experience. It's a game that I want to be better at, but I know I'm not. So that's the end of that. And then Ghost of Tsushima Legends just basically takes the combat parts of Ghost of Tsushima and just turns it all into a game with like loot drops and that kind of thing. Skip. And it's got this kind of horror element to it because you're going into like a demon-infested land or something. It's 4-player cooperative if you want, though I think you can play it solo. And there's no gameplay, of course. Or very little gameplay. Anyway, there you go. That is the PlayStation Plus games for this month. And then games with gold. What we got? Why are you doing this? Play the trailer. Thank you. Weird. Also, I can't full screen this? Hang on. What is going on here? Why are you doing this? Get off the screen. Ah! This stream is going well. This stream is going very well. Okay. I'm just going to leave it like this because I can't make it do what I want it to do. Anyway, Flame in the Flood is another kind of survival thing, but it is kind of isometric thing where you are sailing from one island to the other, collecting materials and building survival equipment and etc. etc. It's gotten some really good critical reviews. I'm just not super into survival games, so I don't get too much interest in it myself. But yeah, if that's your thing, you'll probably like it. I can't skip ahead because this is being weird. Why are you like this? I think it's because there's a thumbnail underneath the player, and that's what's getting picked up by my extension that makes that does the hover thing for me. Whatever. I'm gonna stop talking. Football thing, cool. You do trick shots and whatever. It's what is it, FIFA Street or Football Street or something like that. Anyway, something like that. What else is there? Street Power Soccer, that's what it is. Sacred 2 Fallen Angel is a Diablo type deal, I think. Yeah, it is. It's a Diablo type thing. And SpongeBob's Truth or Square, I think, is like a puzzle game. Your help and the help of some beginning must use Plankton's memory machine to retrace the happiest moments of his life and find the formula. Okay, it actually sounds like it's probably a platformer. Guess we'll find out here in a second. Yeah, it's a platformer type thing. But SpongeBob. Cool. Pause. Pause without... Pause. Okay, we did it. Fuck's sake. Oh my god, this stream is really bad. This stream is really, really bad. Okay. We're nearly there, folks. We're nearly through it. Oh my god. Okay. New releases this week. So, Gran Turismo 7, the big, super flashy, super hyped about cars game, is out. And there's some shit we need to talk about in industry bullshit about Gran Turismo 7, but other than that, it's been getting some really good reviews. Best Gran Turismo ever kind of thing. It looks gorgeous, as all the Gran Turismos do, especially if you start running it in ray tracing mode. You might think, is this actually real life? Although I do think that is said about a lot of Gran Turismo games in general. Can we skip to actual gameplay? I mean, technically this is gameplay because they have their scape thing where you can take pictures of your car and whatever. That kind of, okay, actual gameplay. Kinda, sorta gameplay. Anyway, I think at this point you probably know if you want Gran Turismo or not. Although maybe wait for my industry bullshit segment about it, because there's some bullshit. There is some bullshit going on in Gran Turismo 7. Anyway, lots of cars. They look really nice. You drive them. That's it. That's Gran Turismo. That's always been Gran Turismo. Babylon's Fall. Oh boy. Okay, we need to talk about Babylon's Fall, everybody. Babylon's Fall is shit. It's very, very, very bad. I played the demo of it last week because I was considering getting it and then streaming it on the channel, but it's not a good game. So it is a live service game. It is a premium priced live service game. So we're talking $69.99, nice, $79.99 if you get the deluxe package or whatever. And it starts off with a premium battle pass. You have the microtransaction shit, so the real money shops. You have like daily login bonuses and all that shit for live service type thing. You have really basic combat. Like the combat mechanics are interesting, but they never evolve beyond what you get at the beginning. So like gameplay never changes basically. If you want to actually do anything with that battle pass, you will have to play the same level over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, getting tiny incremental changes in your loot. If you decide to play it solo, the game will take you an age to do anything because the game and enemies and so on is all scaled assuming you will always have a full party. So you will, if you're playing by yourself, you're going to have to do the work of 4 people, basically. The 2 bosses that I fought, one of them took, no joke, 30 minutes to beat because I was doing it by myself. It took ages. absolutely ages. It was a slog. It was not hard. You just did the same thing over and over again, and I did the same thing over and over again. It just took forever. And I was even a higher level than I should have been for doing that, and it still took forever. And the second boss, and this is where I just straight up quit the game. I thought the game couldn't possibly be this bad. Like, there must be something redeeming. Something later on. This is just the early game. Something later on will redeem it, but no. This second boss has a bunch of ads with him. It's 3 other enemies that are in the arena with you. Assuming you would have a 4-player team, that means 1 each, right? So that would work out fine. But if you're playing it solo, that means you got to fight all 4 of them, and they all might as well be a boss by themselves. And I did manage to get rid of the 3 ads. Took fucking ages, but I did manage to do it. Then, like, okay, now I can focus on the boss. Like, a minute later, he just summoned all 3 of them back, and I was just, oh, well, fuck this. I have other things to do. I can't spend 4 hours on this boss. Never mind all that, and that the game looks awful. They're trying to go for some of this kind of watercolor, oil painting maybe kind of thing. So there's a filter over the screen. It just makes it look super blurry. Everything looks really bad. I have my volume down to 0 on my phone, and I am still somehow... I'm still somehow getting fucking notification noises. Anyway, that's Babylon's Fall. And there's a video that I will link in the description that goes into a much better reasons for why you should avoid this game. If the reviews aren't enough for you, because the reviews are all the same. This is a terrible cash grab. This is Square Enix once again trying to make a live service game work. Like, they failed with Marvel's Avengers, they failed with Outriders, and they're gonna fail again with Babylon's Fall, and they might take Platinum Games with them, which is kind of the bigger concern. Because Platinum Games, they make some really good games and then they make some really bad games. It's like, it's bad or it's amazing. They don't seem to have a middle ground. They can either make a bad game or they make a great game. I don't know, it's weird. That's a weird developer. But their good games are really good. So, yeah, kind of hoping they hang around, but we'll see. We'll see if Babylon's Fall takes them out. Far Changing Tides is a side-scrolling kind of exploratory game. It's kind of contemplative, if you like. You would almost call it a walking simulator if it wasn't a sailing game, I guess. You're embarking on an unforgettable voyage, as it says there, in your makeshift ship that you have to get from point A to point B, and there are things in the way that you need to fix. And you fix up your ship to make it more able, or stop it from falling apart, and so on. That kind of thing. But now, you can also go underwater, which is very different from the first game, which was Lonely Sails? Lonely Sails, I think. Lonely Sails, there was no water at all. You were on a dry riverbed, or a dry ocean, rather. Whereas this is very much not dry, so you'll be spelunking and so on. Is it still spelunking if you're going underwater, or is it just diving? Scuba, I guess. Anyway, we'll be looking at Far Changing Tides on the channel next week, so if you want to check that out, if this trailer has intrigued you and you want to see more, we'll be playing a bit of it on Wednesday. Shadow Warrior 3, which is it's gonna be overshadowed by Elden Ring. There's really no way around that, because pretty much everything is being overshadowed by it. This is a kind of funny trailer, I guess, that doesn't really show off the game, but think of Doom Eternal, more or less. You've got that kind of thing going for it, but it's like comedy kind of things. Like, the game absolutely does not take itself seriously whatsoever, and I think just finds that its main character is a joke, and that's this kind of thing. Think of Dante, but not cool. Trying to be cool and failing, whereas Dante is cool, or whatever. Anyway, that's Shadow Warrior 3. We might get around to playing this on the channel. It's a little expensive right now. I'm just gonna say it's a bit too much. I don't think I can. I don't think I can spend that much money on it. Anyway, Shadow Warrior 3, and then Triangle Strategy, which is the latest from ArtDink, who made Octopath Traveler and Square Enix. Jesus, they're releasing Triangle Strategy and Babylon's Fall this week. One of them is absolute shit. And Triangle Strategy is really good. It's a really good combination, intriguing, like court intrigue, diplomatic stuff, like all nearly like Game of Thrones kind of things. And then it's got a really good strategy RPG. So it's like a grid-based, place your people in the correct position and pincer attacks, and get backstabs in and that kind of thing. And then it's got a kind of morality system built underneath it, in that you can choose to be like more pragmatic or more moralistic or whatever, like that kind of thing. That's what the scales are basically meant to represent there. We've played a little bit of it on the channel. We played a little bit on Friday. So if you want to check that out, we will be playing more tomorrow on Monday. I think it's really good, but it's heavy on the story, which means we didn't actually get much gameplay in on Friday. So hopefully we'll see more. And then, of course, last but not least, PC game releases Furry Futanari Jigsaw. So, if none of those other games piqued your interest, perhaps Jigsaw about Furry Futanari will do that for you. Okay. All right. It is now time to talk about the worst part of video games, the video game industry. So, this is a report that came out of Bloomberg this week. I'm not linking to Bloomberg itself because it is paywalled, and I have used up my monthly allotment. But if you wanted to, the link is embedded in this article. You can check it out there. Twitch confronted with staff exodus over strategy disagreements. So this is an issue in that Twitch upper management are doing the capitalist thing by trying to just grow at all costs. Just make line go up, pretty much, and just destroying the product in the meantime. Twitch lost over 300 employees in 2021, and over 60 have left since the beginning of 2022. It is described as an exodus of executives. 6 top employees, in quotes, top employees, having left since the start of the year. Employees have been leaving Twitch due to disagreements over its strategy. The streaming platform has been focusing on monetizing its users and expanding instead of listening to and understanding its streamers, which has alienated its employees and its users, according to Bloomberg. Not surprising. Have you seen the stuff they brought out? They had that thing where you could just buy... what was this? You could buy exposure, pretty much, for a streamer. Like have your followers put bits towards getting you on the main screen, or on the front screen, or on the front of on the Twitch home screen. And it was quite obviously pointed out that this would only benefit people who had a lot of followers. Like, this isn't going to benefit anybody who has like 10 followers or whatever. But Twitch didn't care, obviously, because they don't. Anyway. Former head of creator development, Marcus Graham, criticized Twitch's hiring process, which he said focuses on Silicon Valley candidates who have little knowledge of the games industry. Where have we heard that before? Where have we heard people bringing in like Facebook executives and Twitter executives into video game publishers who don't know anything about video games? Or not even them, just bringing in people who are good at business and bringing them into Activision's board of directors or any of that kind of shit. And it's like, hey, we just want money. Let's make money go up. Let's not care about the game or the creative process whatsoever. This is the issue with bringing business degree people into a creative endeavor. Like, they do have a place there, like for marketing and such, but they absolutely should not be at the top, because they do not make decisions in the best interest of the creative process. IMO. Twitch's execs have been ignoring warnings from its staff regarding monetization efforts. Twitch's leadership is uncomfortable with mid-level and lower-level employees pushing for change. So, yes, they're leading from the top down instead of leading from the middle. I'm not shocked. Or rather, I am. Yeah, I am shocked. Like, this is my shocked face, right? We remember that. Anyway. Platform has improved its employee retention. So, it is a Twitch spokesperson has said that, this is in response to this Bloomberg article, that Twitch has improved its employee retention in 2020 and 2021. Improved its employee retention when they lost 300. How bad was it before? So yeah, Twitch is not listening to people. Not listening to its own employees. Like, I'm not shocked exactly, but, you know, something to it's different when you actually know what's happening. Anyway, if you thought that the whole thing that's going on right now the world, and somehow we would have forgot about Activision Blizzard, you were wrong. There has been a group of organizations, so these public interest groups, there's a whole list of them here. Public Citizens, Center for Digital Democracy, Communications Workers of America, which is a union. Repair Association, also a union. Public Knowledge, American Economic Liberties Project, the Revolving Door Project, National Employment Law Project, Open Markets Institute Towards Justice, People's Priority Project, Institute for Local Self-Reliance, Main Street Alliance, Fight for the Future, who I believe are also our union advocates, I think. Demand Progress Education Fund, and many more, are asking the Federal Trade Commission to closely monitor Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. They highlight concerns considering data privacy issues, undermining online consumer protection, and wage suppression. Basically, this consolidation into Microsoft means there are fewer opportunities to vote with your wallet, basically, is the real issue there. Activision Blizzard is a substantial game publisher with an extremely popular roster of game franchises and a burgeoning customer base. Recent regulatory filings show that Activision has nearly 400 million monthly active users. If the FTC clears this merger, Microsoft will become the third largest gaming company in the world. The fact that none of Microsoft's US-based employees belong to a union underscores Microsoft's success in preventing its labor force from organizing to protect worker interests. So this is highlighting that Activision Blizzard King employees have been trying to unionize for a while now, and the fact that Microsoft don't have any union members might underscore that Microsoft are union busting, and maybe not good. The impact extends beyond its own labor force. Game designers will have fewer potential employers, and independent developers will have fewer partners competing for their work, suppressing wages and innovation. So not just consumer protections in that you'll have fewer places which to vote with your wallet. Developers will have fewer places to actually work, that will have fewer restrictions on like union options and that kind of thing, because so many places will be owned by Microsoft or by Sony or by Embracer and so on. So that's their issue, although Activision as it currently stands is not exactly in a fantastic position, because Activision blames the Microsoft acquisition for failure to hire another woman to its board. Yes, this acquisition that's a whole year off somehow is preventing them from hiring a single woman, a single extra woman to its board. So under California state law, companies with boards consisting of 6 people or more must have at least 3 women serving on them. Activision's board exceeds this number, and yet it failed to introduce a third woman in 2021. I'm shocked. I really am. Activision states the reason for this failure is due to its planned acquisition by Microsoft. Now, here's the thing. That law came in 2019. How much more of a complication Microsoft's planned acquisition really added is questionable, as these laws were put in place in 2019. The acquisition didn't come in until last year. This year? I mean, it was announced this year, but it came in like the negotiation started last year. So they've had 2 years to do this with nothing about Microsoft being a thing. How come they hadn't managed it in those 2 years? What was the excuse for those 2 years? They don't say. They don't say because they had no intention of ever doing it. This is the same company that said it was impossible for them to hire diverse employees. Impossible, despite plenty of other publishers and developers managing to do it. It was impossible for Activision. It's almost like they wanted to keep their little environment that they had going, this good thing they had going for themselves. Top level board member executives. Board member executives? Just board members. I don't think they can be executives and a board member. Maybe you can. I don't know. But the good times, they just keep rolling for Activision Blizzard. Family suing Activision Blizzard for wrongful death after employee suicide. So this death happened to the company retreat in 2017. So content warning. Following thing they mentioned is suicide and sexual harassment. So, you've been warned. Family of an Activision employee died by suicide is suing the company, claiming her death followed sexual harassment from a director she worked with. So this came out as part of the big report about Activision Blizzard and how it was fostering like a toxic workplace, sexual harassment, low morale, wage disparity, all that. That whole report that kickstarted the whole "fuck you" Activision thing. Well, I mean, everybody was kind of saying "fuck you" Activision, but even more so, right? The whole Cosby suite, that whole report, that thing. There was mention of this incident that someone unnamed at the time in the report had committed suicide following sexual harassment and also a string of bullying. They had pictures shared amongst the office, intimate pictures shared about, and so on, and they took their own life. As a result of that, or that was the allegement. They've been named now, so the family of Kerry Moynihan has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. They are alleging that her parents are alleging that her boss at the time, Greg Restituto, oh, fuck, who cares? Lied to detectives investigating her death, and that he lied about the sexual nature of his and Moynihan's relationship. There's also news that Activision themselves refused to hand over Kerry Moynihan's laptop and work phone, and also refused access to Greg Restituto's work machines, work emails, and so on. Greg left. He left Activision Blizzard just 1 month after Kerry Moynihan's death, which is super suspicious. But anyway, that lawsuit has only just come out. Activision have not responded. At least not at time that I'm talking, has not responded. And the rest of this article just goes on to highlight what I said, which was the public report into Activision Blizzard brought this to light. So yeah, good times at Activision Blizzard. Anyway, moving on. So I did want to talk about Gran Turismo 7. And here's the issue, because this was not present at time for review, so the reviews will not mention any of this stuff. So you're only going to hear from me, or from this website, or from a couple of other websites that are also talking about it. Anyway, Gran Turismo 7 microtransactions were not available at the time of review. They only went live after the game had come out. Players are not able to purchase cars individually. So here's an issue. Gran Turismo Sport also had microtransaction DLC in that you could buy the individual car, whatever car you wanted. You could buy it for like $1 or $5 or something, depending on, I guess, the quality or whatever the car is. Anyway, you could buy it, and that is kind of how the whole game itself works. The whole game of Gran Turismo, just going all the way back to the very first one, was that you are started off with a piece of shit secondhand car, basically, that you work hard to race with. You tune it up, you win some more races, you win money, you buy a better car, a less shit secondhand thing, and work your way up and so on. Eventually, you're buying supercars and driving those around and that kind of thing. That is like Gran Turismo, from Gran Turismo 1 all the way forward. That's the way the game works. And obviously DLC and shit wasn't available on PS1, PS2, that kind of thing. So I think it only came in Gran Turismo Sport that instead of you earning Gran Turismo bucks, you could pay real money to just get the car you wanted and be able to drive that. But you can't do that in Gran Turismo 7. In Gran Turismo 7, you can only convert real world money into Gran Turismo bucks and then use the Gran Turismo bucks to buy cars. So you can't just buy the car you want. You have to convert it into the currency, and then you can buy the car you want. Except, here's an issue. So, an example from such and such. Porsche 919 Hybrid 16. I don't know what that car is. I'm going to assume it's this car. Probably not, but I'm going to assume it's that car. Anyway, cost $3 in Gran Turismo Sport, and now costs 3 million credits in Gran Turismo 7. If you want to purchase 3 million credits outright, you will need to fork out $40. That's quite an upgrade. $3 to $40. Inflation's going crazy. Even in digital products, inflation is going up somehow. But there's an even more added wrinkle, because Gran Turismo 7 is so deep into car porn and car passion and whatever you want. They've decided that the cars themselves, the really high-end cars, will have a fluctuating price that will reflect their actual real-world price, basically. So cars will be dynamically priced. So they are partnered with some company that rates supercars and legendary cars and whatever in the real world to say, like, this is how much these cars are actually worth, and they'll go up and down based on based on real-world market values. But the issue there is that your credits don't go up and down based on real-world market values, Exchange rates don't change that. Your credits are locked. So you could end up buying what you think should be enough for this car. We're talking Legendary cars currently go between 150,000 Gran Turismo books and 20 million Gran Turismo books. 2 million Gran Turismo books costs $20. You know, you'd be putting in what you think. Let's say you went with the 20 million one, right? And you're putting in 10 times that. So $200, right? And the price goes up. Like in between the time you've bought the 20 million credits, the price has now gone up again. It's no longer $200. It's, $220 or something like that. You know, this is shit. This is absolutely shit. If they had left it as just credits, like no microtransactions, this fluctuating price would be fine. I don't think that would be an issue, really, because you'd just be playing more of the game you already like. If you've already earned enough to have 20 million credits, chances are you like the game, right? Adding in this kind of shit is gross. It's just combining it with the fluctuating. Well, already it's gross because it's going from $3 to $40. The same exact thing. Just because it's in a new game. And just because they're converting it between real war money into Gran Turismo books instead of just real war money into the car you wanted in the game. It's a horrible way to do it. And as pointed out in PlayStation Lifestyle's article, microtransactions should be available during the review period. Since they're not there, they can't be taken into account in reviews because they have no experience of it, so they don't know how to say if it is good or bad or whatever. So yeah, there are plenty of games that have added in microtransactions after the review period is over, even after people have bought the game, like a month later, then they start adding in the microtransaction shit. You know, at that point you've bought the game, you're in their in their zone of influence, like in their web. Let's put it that way. They're in their spider web. You're in the trap, and they're just waiting for the jaws to close shut on your wallet or something. I don't know. That metaphor got away from me, but whatever. Okay, last thing for industry bullshit. I was questioning, I suppose, whether or not this really is bullshit or is just something weird's going on in the background. But Warren Spector is creating a new IP, but has not mentioned anything about System Shock 3, despite them working on it since 2016, I think? A long time ago? Warren Spector is now working on a completely new intellectual property at his development studio, Other Side Entertainment. If you are unfamiliar, Warren Spector is responsible for System Shock. He's also responsible for Deus Ex. There's a lot of really formative, immersive sim games. Like Deus Ex changed first-person games for going forward. They just got very different. System Shock, the same. It's like shooters can have really intricate stories. Who knew? Deus Ex, much the same thing, but it started adding in RPG elements and that kind of. And so did System Shock, but I think Deus Ex was a bit more palatable for people since it was kind of real worldy. Anyway, I'm still salty that Square Enix didn't make a Deus Ex 3, but whatever. It hasn't mentioned anything about System Shock 3. System Shock 3 was originally in 2015. Jesus, I thought I was being generous in 2016. System Shock 3 was originally announced in 2015 when Spector was revealed as its creative advisor. The project fell off the rails in 2018, however, after Starbreeze went into bankruptcy. And were subsequently bought out by THQ, and I think THQ were bought out by Embracer. Anyway, Other Side split ways with Starbreeze and said it would continue working on the project on its own, but reports of development troubles and staff departures emerged in 2020. So yeah, they've lost a bunch of people, and also Tencent took over rights to System Shock, so it's questioning whether or not Other Side are actually even still working on System Shock 3, or if Tencent have given it to somebody else, and I've left Warren Spector to work on his own thing. We don't know is the question. We still don't know what's going on with System Shock 3. I mean, it's cool that Warren Spector is working on a new IP, because I like a lot of his games. I don't like all of them. Epic Mickey, for one, despite it being an hilarious name. It's not a particularly interesting game. Deus Ex, though. Deus Ex is good. System Shock was good. System Shock 2 was good. Was kind of hoping System Shock 3 would be good, but we don't know what's happening with it. We do, however, know that the System Shock remake is still on track to come out at some point this year, but it's not being worked on the same company. It's being made by Night Dive. And from what I've seen from their demos and output, it looks like it'll be pretty good. So, yeah. I guess we'll see. Anyway. So we'll finish off with some dumb stuff. So the Steam Deck started releasing this week. Started releasing on February 28th. So bunch of them should be making their ways to it. You may have been seeing some previews and reviews and, unboxing videos going about the place. I don't have one, so I can't say anything about it. I'm kind of waiting for the dock to be released, and I want to see how that works. Because it's unlikely I'm actually even going to use it handheld. So I'm kind of seeing how it handles third-party controllers like a DualSense or an Xbox controller or something like that, and how well it connects to out to HDMI. Because I've seen people trying to do USB-Cs to HDMI, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. But anyway, Rock Paper Shotgun have this little cool little thing, in that there was a little booklet that came with the Steam Deck, or the press pack rather. So it wouldn't have come with the Steam Deck, it would have came to press people who were reviewing it. And there was a little fold-out thing of here's all of the other Steam Deck prototypes. So this is only a small snippet of it. The full thing is here. There's a full idea of what all the different Steam Decks they went through. Some of them you'll see that they're all black rectangles for the most part, but some of them have some really crazy designs. I'm sure the bright red and bright orange ones are leaping out to you, and the weird blue and orange one, which is a very strange look. Rock Paper Shotgun go through a couple of them here, which is kind of funny. It's the burn victim, which just looks horrible. Now obviously these are super low res because he's just cutting them out of the same image, but yeah, that looks awful. And it got this one that for some reason has a bite taken out of it on the right hand side. Don't know what that's about. This one that just looks painful to hold. Why on earth? And why does it only have one? Why does it only have one leg? What happened to the other leg? This one that is obviously just a giant controller, makes sense. Though it does look like those awful Switch peripherals that try to put proper legs on the Joy-Cons. It looks strange. This monstrosity. Why would they think this was a good idea? It looks awful. This one is kind of, I don't know, it's weird. It looks like those. Have you ever seen the kind of foam covers they put on tablets for kids? That's what it looks like to me. This is the one that cuts off your fingers if you play it for too long. They just decided blue wasn't good enough, I guess, and got rid of it. This is a bomb. And then this is just, it's the Steam Deck, pretty much. That looks like how it ended up looking, but they decided to go with black instead of blue. I guess that was the idea there. Anyway, it's a pretty funny article, but I think it's nice to just look at the all the different permutations it went through. And then finally, stupid thing, Elden Ring is obviously, I think if you look at your... What are my friends playing on PlayStation right now, or what are they playing on Steam, or what are they playing on Xbox right now? It's a pretty good chance it's Elden Ring. But there has been a meme going around based on pretty much this exact interaction, where you talk to one of the very early characters in the game who accuses you of being Maidenless. Now, a maiden in the game is meant to be like a guiding light and help you through the game, and you don't have one. Basically, you just got to figure it out for yourself. But of course, the internet has taken that to mean, Tarnished one, you maidenless wretch. Verily, I bet you've never even seen a boob. Touch grass, tarnished one, you fucking dork. So it's been taking that, the Megamind meme, where he says no bitches or bitches, ? That kind of thing. Mom, where's your wife? Co-workers, no girlfriend? Chat, no bitches. Elden Ring, maidenless. So yeah, you can't even escape your singledom in video games. They're coming after to get you here. So it's this meme. If you haven't seen it, there's one of Megamind making much the same. Megamind of the DreamWorks film Megamind, which is a very similar thing, but he says bitches ? Instead. Anyway, it's pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway, let's see. Okay, I didn't give Paradise Killer a full screen treatment, and it's not going to get a full screen treatment here either, but there you go. Anyway, that was the news, and absolutely awful stream. This is why I need to get more sleep. 28th February to the 6th of March 2022. So yeah, we saw some of the video game industry's response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Mostly it's all about following on the same kind of sanctions, so trying to remove business. Why isn't YouTube playing? What are you doing? Why you do this to me? What did I do to you? Why are you like this, YouTube? Why? Are you still looping? You are. Okay, good. Don't know what that was about. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, new releases and updates. Paradise Killer getting a PlayStation release. I'm very happy about, as particularly what I've seen from the graphical updates. This should be a lot of fun. It's a really good game. I was really blown away by it, and I'm really looking forward to actually playing it. Let's playing it rather. For the stream, I have played it, finished it. I'm looking forward to doing a let's play for it. So that'll be cool. The Resident Evil update stuff, sure. We'd have no date for it, so we don't know when that's happening. But yeah, cool. It's a free upgrade for anybody who already owns it. Or if you buy it now, you can get in on that free upgrade, I guess. It's on sale fairly regularly, those 3 games. So something to look into. New releases. Gran Turismo looks really cool. Probably never play it. Probably wait for the PS Plus thing if it ever drops to it. And also the microtransactions shit just looks gross. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Babylon's Fall, super disappointing, particularly because it's platinum, and its combat mechanic looked interesting, but it never evolves beyond what you get right at the start, so that's not great. Triangle Strategy, really good, really good game. Played a bit of it on Friday. We're playing more of it next week. What else came out? Fire Changing Tides looks cool. We'll see more of it on Wednesday. And Shadow Warrior 3, I'm waiting for a price cut. it's a little too expensive right now, but it does look like more cool, old school first-person arcadey kind of shooting. So it's very fast-paced, very twitchy, very movement-oriented. Not staying in the same place, not hiding behind cover and, peeking out, that kind of thing. I think it does still do aim down sights, but whatever, that's fine. It's good enough. Industry bullshit. Activision getting its comeuppance. Like, this has been coming for years, and it's all well deserved at this point. As much as I said this like last week, I think 2 weeks ago, I want Bobby gone, and if that means that they have to merge with Microsoft to make it happen, okay, not great, because again, consolidation is not good for the industry. But if it gets rid of him, yeah, I don't know, because I don't know who to favor in that argument, to be honest. So I guess we'll see. System Shock 3, yeah, it's not great that we still haven't heard anything about it. Like, what's happened? Chances are Tencent have given it to somebody else. That's kind of what I'm going with at the moment. Not great. Would have liked Warren Spector to stay on it, but there you go. Anyway, coming up on the channel next week, as I've mentioned a couple of times now, we're doing Triangle Strategy on Monday. We're doing Fire Changing Tides on Wednesday, and then Elden Ring on Saturday. And then we'll be doing the weekly news recap, as we usually do on Sundays, and hopefully I'll have had enough sleep and it won't be this absolute train wreck that we've done here. So have a look for them. This week we played Monarch on Monday, which is a JRPG strategy RPG. Wow. Japanese strategy RPG is what I probably should have gone with. Set in a high school, made by former Shin Megami Tensei devs. It was pretty cool. I really liked it. I'm going to play a bit more of it. Probably off stream though. We finished Observation, so the Observation LP is now finished. The VOD is still there on Twitch if you want to check that out, and they are going up on YouTube as and when I get around to uploading them, basically. Triangle Strategy we played on Friday, and we played a bit more Elden Ring yesterday. I've changed character. We're no longer a wretch. We are playing as a prisoner instead. So there's a bit of a mix of dex, weapons, and magic. So we'll see how that works out. It's going okay. I'll be playing a bit more of it on Saturday. I will be playing it off the stream as well, so there will be stuff that I will do in my own time. Grinding mostly, just to get some more levels and that kind of thing. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you on some of those and in chat and so on. Otherwise, you can find me on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter under Doomtrain5. That's under my face right now. I am that handle on all 3 of those platforms, so feel free to check that out. And yeah. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever. Bye-bye.